You know her as a revolutionary hero, the swashbuckling commander of the Royal Guard, a woman who lived as a man. But what if I told you the bravest thing Oscar Francois de Jarges ever did wasn't on a battlefield, but in a mirror? What if the most dangerous enemy she faced wasn't a mob of angry revolutionaries, but the very identity she was forced to create? Oscar was born into a life of duty. Her father, desperate for a male heir, raised her as a boy. She became a brilliant soldier, a knight of the court. On the outside, she was a symbol of strength and defiance. But on the inside, her masculine identity was a prison. It was a role, a performance she was forced to perfect. This is the central conflict of her story, and it's a conflict that so many of us face today. The pressure to live up to someone else's expectations, your parents, your partner, your job, or even society as a whole. You build a persona to succeed, but at what cost? This video is for anyone who has ever felt like they were living someone else's life and wondered what it would take to break free. The tragedy of Lady Oscar isn't that she was a woman in a man's world. It's that she was a person trapped between two worlds. The more she excelled as a commander, the more she was praised for being like a man. But every victory came at the cost of her true self. She couldn't fully embrace her feelings for those she loved, like because it didn't fit the role of the aloof commander. She was admired from a distance, but deeply alone. Her identity was a shield, but it also became a wall, preventing genuine connection. The show makes us feel her isolation. This isn't a story about gender politics alone. It's about the soul-crushing weight of a life lived for others, a path laid out by an unfulfilled expectation. Oscar's story takes a pivotal turn when she realizes the monarchy she has sworn to protect is betraying the very people she cares about. This external betrayal becomes a catalyst for an even greater internal one. She's forced to choose, and in that choice, she doesn't just betray her duty to the king and queen. She betrays the very identity her father built for her. She sheds her uniform, not just as a sign of rebellion, but as a symbolic act of taking off the mask. She finally starts to live for herself, for her own principles and her own heart. This is the moment she stops being a soldier of the monarchy and becomes a soldier of her own soul. The most powerful moment in Oscar's journey is not her final act of heroism, but her final act of self. By embracing her true self, her femininity, and her love for she finally achieves a peace she never had before. She becomes whole. The show argues that true strength is not found in a masculine facade or in rigid loyalty to a flawed system. It's found in the courage to let go of what you were supposed to be and embrace who you truly are, flaws and all. Her tragic end isn't a failure. It's the ultimate victory. She dies a person of her own making, fighting for a cause she chose, and loving a man she allowed herself to love. Oscar's story is a timeless message. The expectations of others can feel like a heavy uniform you can't take off, but her journey shows us that true freedom and true happiness are found when you have the courage to shed that uniform and fight for your own truth. So I want you to ask yourself, what uniform are you wearing? What part of your identity have you suppressed to meet someone else's expectation?